What's crack-a-lackin'? Welcome in to My Mind is a Weapon Fantasy Football Show.
Welcome into episode 120, everybody. I am your host, SleezBall. Today's episode will be diving into my Week 9 waiver wire pickups. These are going to be 8 players, and I'm not going to give you like handcuffs or stuff like that. These are players that are rostered under 50% in Yahoo leagues and players that can actually help you next week in your lineup. So you're not going to see like handcuffs like Braylon Allen or Blake Corum or something like that. These are going to be true waiver wire players that you can actually plug and play into your lineup. Now, before we dive into it, guys, make sure you smash that like, make sure you smash that subscription, turn that bell on. It helps me out a ton. I will be live on Thursday. It's my birthday stream on Thursday. I'll even be dressed up with the whole outfit and everything. And I'm only going to be live Sunday and Thursday this week. So if you guys can't make the shows, make sure you drop any comments you guys have down below. One of my goals is to try to answer every single one of them, guys, to help you get that weekly win and get you that goal of a championship. And let's dive into some waiver wire pickups for you heading into Week 9. The first player you should be targeting on your waiver wire, and again, guys, these are not in order. I'm going to break down the FAAB and stuff like that you should use for each player, or waiver priority if that is needed. So I'm going to give you quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends. I forgot to mention that at the beginning. So the first quarterback you should be targeting is Jameis Winston. This guy was on my sleeper start list last week. The matchup was absolutely gold versus the Baltimore Ravens. Yes, they were missing 2 of their top 2 corners with Humphreys and Wiggins being out. And that's why I said to pick him up and start him. And look what happened. He dropped 23.56 points in fantasy football. He had 334 yards passing and 3 touchdowns, and they knocked off the Baltimore Ravens, guys. Jameis Winston looks poised. Didn't throw any of his crazy picks. Didn't even get excited or anything crazy on the sideline. Looked like he was just dialed in the whole time, even since the pregame interview. So Cedric Tilman absolutely balling. Jerry Jeudy has a good game. Elijah Moore sees hella targets. Nick Chubb had a tough, run game going there. But with this Browns defense and being 2-6, getting that win, that's going to boost them up. They're going to think they can take on the world now. They get the Chargers next. It's going to be another tough matchup defensively, but the way he throws the ball, I am okay starting Jameis Winston in a 12 quarterback league. And I cannot believe that he is only rostered in 6% of Yahoo leagues, guys. That is absolutely crazy. I'm willing to use a top 4 waiver priority and about 30 to 35% FAAB because this guy slings the ball like a crazy man, and you can start him every single week at this rate. With that defense getting the ball back too, it's just going to be wheels up from here on out for the Cleveland Browns. It's crazy to say that, but Jameis Winston looked really good, guys. The second player you should be targeting, sticking with the QB position, is going to be Matthew Stafford, currently owned at 39% in Yahoo leagues, which is crazy to me. I had him on my Smash Start video last week, guys. That's why you like and subscribe to the channel, so you get this information ahead of time. So I didn't even know that Puka Nacua would be back, so that was a bigger plus for him as well. And just goes out against Minnesota, one of the best teams in football, gets the win, 24.76 fantasy points, 279 pass yards. And look, 4 TDs and 1 pick. That is with Kupp and Nacua. So when you're looking at that 7 TDs on the season, 5 picks, he had no one out there helping him since week 2. So, he's been absolutely struggling. Now the Rams season is on the line. Now they get the Seattle Seahawks, who just got absolutely throttled by the Bills. They currently give up 31.3 points in the wide receiver position. Expect Nacua and Kupp to absolutely eat again here this week. And Matt Stafford to be a good play here the rest of the way. Look at his schedule here. Miami, New England, Philly, New Orleans, Buffalo, tough pass D, Niners, tough pass D, Jets. It gets tougher in the playoffs, but this man could lead you to the playoffs and be a startable 1 QB in 12-man leagues. And I like Matthew Stafford heading forward here. I think they're going to be probably an 18 to 22, point quarterback play probably till week 15 or 16 here. So I'm willing to spend 15 to 20% FAAB. I know it's a quarterback. I know you can find quarterback value like that as well. That's great. But man, the Rams season is on the line, and it's all gas, no brakes from here. Moving over to the running back position, and this one's a little tougher because we just got the CMC update of his practice window is going to be opened up next week here. And I know that Jordan Mason went down with re-aggravated the shoulder injury, so we're probably going to have an update on him going forward. But so I'm not going crazy with the FAAB here on Garendo. So Jordan Mason goes down last night. Garendo scores 19.2 points against the Dallas Cowboys, puts up 85 yards rushing, finds his first touchdown as a rookie, also puts up 3 through 17 through the air. So over 100-yard game for him, which was impressive. And the man runs a 4.33 40, man. The man can fly. But why I'm willing to spend for 5 to 8% on Garendo is because the risk factor. Jordan Mason has not been able to stay healthy through games. We don't know how CMC is going to look with the Achilles tendonitis in both legs. I know it's Christian McCaffrey, but this is a great handcuff piece to have. Like I could have said, like Breece Hall, you could have gone with any of the running backups like Braylon Allen. You're sorry, not Breece Hall. You go for Braylon Allen. You could go for, Jalen Wright, stuff like that. They're not really going to be impactful without a main injury to a healthy guy. So when I'm looking at the 49ers, man, they are just crumbling with injuries. So if there's one running back I'm willing to grab out of this waiver wire group, it is going to be him. Even with the bye week coming, the 49ers are just decimated by injuries. It's like the bug is just hitting them every single week. And I wouldn't be surprised. And I'm a Niner fan. I wouldn't be surprised. Christian McCaffrey comes back and just gets hurt. And Garendo could be an absolute steal in fantasy football, guys. And you can get him for the cheap right now. So he's only owned in 8% of leagues. You could probably spend 5 to 8% FAAB on him. Don't go crazy. And you maybe have an RB2 the rest of the way, depending on injuries and how it's going for the 49ers. Player number 4, heading over to the wide receiver position. And this is absolutely bonkers, guys. Cedric Tilman is only owned in 19% of Yahoo leagues. And this is the number 1 fantasy football receiver over the past 2 weeks. 47 points, averaging 23.5 over the past 2 weeks. And it's, dude, just said all you had to do was lose Deshaun Watson, and look what happened. So if you look at the Ravens last week, man, 28.9 points. He's had 21 targets in the past 2 games, 15 receptions in the past 2 games, and 180 yards in the past 2 games and 2 touchdowns. Jameis Winston has unlocked a wide receiver that is an absolute stud. I was actually really high on him last year, so I'm glad to see the breakout now. Can't take any credit for this year. I wasn't high on him coming in this year. I picked him up in a couple leagues, which was nice. But if he is on your waiver wire right now, guys, this is possibly a 50+% FAAB spend right here with Jameis Winston at quarterback. And this is possibly a top 2 waiver priority. So if you're 1 or 2, you're usually holding that for a running back. This is a startable wide receiver 2 for the rest of the way in the season. Volume is king. And he did, if I was to tell you that he has more points than Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, Jamar Chase, Amon-Ra St. Brown, A.J. Brown, in the past 2 weeks, you think I'm crazy, but it's true. And it's just going to go up and up and up because the passing volume is what Jameis Winston does. And you better go get Cedric Tilman this week. Player number 5, sticking with the wide receiver, is going to be Keon Coleman. And talk about your ultimate turnaround, right? So from weeks 1 to 6, he barely had 1 game over 10 points, right? Then they bring in Amari Cooper, draws the attention away. They move Keon Coleman to the slot, and all of a sudden he has back-to-back 18+ point games. 14 targets, 9 receptions, 195 yards, finds the end zone with that disgusting one-handed catch last week. They're going to get the Miami Dolphins this week. The Miami Dolphins are good versus the pass, good versus the quarterback, but that doesn't matter when you're playing Josh Allen. It's a different game from here. And look at the schedule heading forward, guys. Indianapolis, KC, the bye, Niners, Rams, Detroit, New England, Jets, New England. And you would think the Jets defense has gotten, they're falling apart. So his schedule going forward, this is a flexible play weekly. He's only owned in 41% of the leagues. Currently wide receiver 70 still. It's just up and up and up from here. The chemistry is building with Josh Allen. Curtis Samuel looks to have fallen out of rotation. They have a nasty 3 with Shakir Coleman and Amari Cooper. And man, it's almost like he's a flex play weekly at this point, and it's not even owned. It doesn't make any sense. I'm willing to spend 20 to 30% FAAB on this guy and a 5 to 6 to 7 waiver wire spot priority on him. Player number 6 is going to be Slick Rick Purcell, and he stepped in for the 49ers with the injury to Brandon Ayuk, who was out for the season. I know Jawan Jennings wasn't out there. He looks like he'll be back after the bye still, but his usage, even when Jennings was out there the game before, was still 76% of the snaps in week 7. So it looks like the 49ers are trying to find out what they have in the rookie. And it's crazy to me. This man was literally shot, missed 4 weeks, came back, and absolutely putting up okay numbers as a flex play. Scores 11 points versus Dallas, 4 receptions, 38 yards. Also put up a 39-yard rush on the end around, which you love to see as a wide receiver. Extra fantasy points, that is what you want on top. Now, they are heading into the bye here, right? So don't go crazy with FAAB. But guys, you have to look at this schedule afterwards. Tampa Bay, Seattle, 2 very bad pass defenses. Then they get Green Bay, Buffalo, tougher there. Chicago, tougher there. But then you get Rams, Miami, Detroit, Arizona. The playoff stretch is beautiful for Ricky Purcell, and he is only going to get better and better as a rookie. the chemistry will grow with Brock Purdy. And if I'm looking at CMC coming back, that may even open up more for the wide receivers because that's what this man does. And it looks like he may return in week 10. Again, quote unquote, may return. I don't know how these 49er updates are working this year. It's driving me nuts. But I would spend 15, 18, 20% on him and about a waiver, priority of 5, 6, 7, possibly 8 if you're in your league, if it goes that deep. But I think Ricky Purcell is going to be a flexible play for the rest of the way here. Player number 7, and man, the Jacksonville Jaguars just took the craziest injury hit you could have had in 1 week. So they lose Christian Kirk for the season. They lose BTJ for 2 to 4 weeks with the rib chest injury. They lose Gabe Davis in the second quarter with a shoulder injury. So now, when you're looking at Parker Washington, who's only owned in 9% of Yahoo fantasy leagues, you're probably looking at the Jacksonville Jaguars wide receiver 1 probably to the bye. So their bye is week 12, right? So this is definitely a flexible play here against Philly, against Minnesota, against Detroit. 3 very bad pass defenses coming up. You're still going to have Trevor Lawrence locked in on the contract. He's not going anywhere, so your quarterback play is going to be decent enough. And you're going to be out there. He was out there at a 74% snap rate when the injuries happened. So that's almost 3/4 of the games, and now they're all gone. So he still saw 4 targets, 3 receptions, 46 yards. He's also relevant in the return game and punt game as well, which, helps if you have those scoring metrics in your league. But I'm willing to spend, if you need a flex play and you're in a deep competitive league, 30 to 40% on this guy because you're going to get a wide receiver 3 flexible play for 3 weeks till the bye here. And say, week 13 after the bye comes, you probably get BTJ back. You don't know about Gabe Davis. I never like picking up Gabe Davis anyways. But when Parker Washington has been given opportunities, he actually does a decent enough job with it. And I've always wanted to see what this man has. He's only 22 years old, guys. So he's still very, very young in the NFL. But he's about to get a major, major opportunity. And you should be taking advantage of it on the waiver wire tomorrow. Player number 8, and this one just makes absolutely zero sense to me how Josh Downs is not owned over 50% in Yahoo leagues. I'm wondering what kind of leagues people are playing here. So Josh Downs, guys, is almost a top 25 wide receiver that is only owned in 47% of leagues. Make that make sense to me. 47 targets, and he's missed 2 games. So average that out. Let's call it 60 targets, 351 receiving yards, 12 rushing yards, 3 total TDs. Got a TD called back at the 1 yard line on an amazing catch last week. Dropped 26.2 fantasy points. He's dropped 20 before that. He's dropped 20 before that. He's dropped 15 before that. This looks like the go-to guy in the Colts offense. It is no longer Michael Pittman. I hate to say that. I love Michael Pittman in his game, but he is just not getting looked at like Josh Downs. This man can create space and get open. And guys, he's on the waiver wire right now, and you're about to get the Minnesota Vikings next. The Minnesota Vikings are very, very, very bad versus the pass, guys. It's unbelievable how many yards they give up. They rank 32nd. They give up 46.1. They rank 32nd in the red zone. They rank 31st in yards with 204. And I know you may have Anthony Richardson out there, but this was with Anthony Richardson. He still saw 9 targets and 109 yards. So go get this man, and you better be spending high amount of like 40 to 50+% FAAB on this guy. And a top 3 waiver priority pick I would use because you're getting a wide receiver 1 that is still available, and that's absolutely crazy to me. Player number 9, moving to the tight end side. So I had to find a tight end, guys. I know it was just tight end week, and everybody's tight end went off. That's not going to happen every single week. It's like it's rigged for the NFL and National Tight Ends Day. I mean, they scored a massive amount of touchdowns, massive amount of yards. They didn't do anything all year. Now, not many tight ends really are on the waiver wire in competitive leagues that you can play next week that have a great matchup besides Noah Fant. Noah Fant is about to get the Los Angeles Rams. So even when I look at his numbers here, owned in 30% of leagues, tight end 20, 32 targets, 27 yards, 32 targets, 27 receptions, 285 yards, hasn't found the end zone yet. But if there was ever a time for Noah Fant to score his first touchdown of the season, this is it. The Los Angeles Rams rank 31st versus the tight end. They give up 15.8 points per game. They rank 27th in the red zone, so high touchdown upside there. And they give up 63.9 yards in the tight end position. That's 4th worst in the NFL. And you may not have DK Metcalf. I know they say that he could play. They said the same thing about week 8, and their bye is coming in week 10. So I'm not going to say that he's going to be out there. But if you're playing the fantasy game, you should know if the bye is coming ahead and the superstar is close to playing or not playing. They're probably going to sit him with the bye, but it is a big game for them at 4-4, especially playing the Rams in division. So DK may be out there, but he could be limited. But either way, I like the Noah Fant play this week a ton. The LA Rams struggle heavily versus the wide receiver. And you can probably get him for 2 to 3% FAAB or like a waiver wire 10 priority. Or some leagues may not even pick him up and know about this. These are the secrets to fantasy football you need to know. And this is going to be a very, very good tight end play this week in week 9. Thanks for rocking with me today. As always, guys, I'm starting to do bonus players at the end. If you made it this far, my 10th player, bonus player to pick up off the waiver wire for about 3 to 5% FAAB that people aren't going to know is Mike Williams. So the Jets are currently looking to trade him by the end of the week. You know, he could go to the Steelers, could go to the Chargers, back to his hometown. Either one of those landing spots would be a good enough value for him. He stayed healthy for the first time. So something to look into there. That is my bonus player. Number 10 is going to be Mike Williams. And again, guys, thank you for all the support, man. Make sure you smash that like, smash that subscription. And if you guys can't make any of the live streams, Thursday, the birthday stream, or Sunday, the pregame kickoff stream where we talk everything, you can always drop any comments you guys have. I try to answer them all, guys. And I'm trying to get you all my content out before the Thursday Halloween because it's going to be a crazy night. So I'm going to try and get my rankings, stardom, stidums, all that out to you before. And then I'll probably dive into some, smash start, sleeper plays, buy low, sell high, stuff like that. And again, thank you guys for all the support. I'll catch you in the next episode, man. SleezBall out.